Okay, guys, here it goes. It's 1 foot Donny. I'm coming. Just trying to get over there on my little knee rider there, my little scooter. Here I am. I still got a cast on. Tomorrow I'm going to the hospital to the surgeon, and hopefully I'll have this cast off and get into an air boot, what they call air boot. And still won't be able to stand on it for close to 6 weeks. But I'm getting through it, guys. Girls, kids, mom and dad, everyone. Oh, it's been very frustrating. You know, I'd rather have a broken arm than a foot. At least I could get around, but I might not be able to use one wing, right? But I'm feeling okay. My spirits are up. I have a lot of friends helping me out. A lot of people have come together and helped me whatever I want to do, which is very nice, and I really appreciate it to everyone. I want to do a video tonight on a certain model here. This is an L65. Now, I've researched it quite a bit, and I know a little bit about these, of course, because you know I'm a very loyal, and I just love Husqvarna, okay? I love the people in Husqvarna in Sweden. I've worked together with them a lot. Not so much anymore, but it's a lovely country, and the company has built some fabulous stuff from anywhere from a microwave, sewing machines, snowmobiles, everything you can think of. It's like Sears, Craftsman, and Eaton's here, you know? They always made everything for people in their homes, you know? Fridges, stoves, everything. Anyways, you can go to the Husqvarna's museum website, and you can see all that stuff. Or go to Sweden to Husqvarna and check out their museum. It's awesome. So let's talk about the L65. I've always had these around. I've come across many of them and either gave them away or refixed them for people because these things just don't die. You know, it's close to a 58-year-old saw, and I'll explain that in a minute. And they are just bulletproof. They just ran wicked. They were made in Sweden for so many years, and then made in Yugoslavia, I believe, towards the end when they stopped making them. And I'm not sure of the year when they stopped making them. There was also a model called the 77, which was 77 cc's, and these are 65. But let's get into a little bit of the history. I've researched this a bit and also kind of known it already, but let's talk about it. This one here is sort of got a little anti-vibration on the handlebars, okay? The first one, called the A65, did not have the rubber mount on this handlebar here and in the bottom here, okay? The first production that that Husqvarna made of this saw, the engineers weren't impressed. They thought the center of gravity, the center of balance wasn't good. So they repositioned the handlebar mounting and provided a lighter bar, and it made it more balanced. Like this saw ideally is, you could run probably a 28 on it. It'll work. But 24-inch to me is pretty much maximum for this saw. It's 65 cc's, right? So anyways, that's what I'm saying about that. So it was funny because there was a Canadian distributor for saws that tested one of these, and he decided, hey, junk all these other units he was running, probably Homelix, Pioneers, whatever there was in those days, McCullough's, and he said, I'm painting the forest orange, man, with these, because these are bulletproof and a great saw. Start easy, run good, just a great saw. So let's just talk about the history now. On Mike Akers' Chainsaw Collector's Corner, which is an excellent site, and Mike Akers, hello, buddy. Hope you're doing well. I just went to my parents' 60th anniversary the other day, 60th wedding anniversary, which is quite a milestone for a couple, eh? And Mike Akers and my dad are the same age, actually. And Mike has been working with McCullough, Husqvarna, and as you know, he's the developer of the Chainsaw Collector's Corner. So anyways, let's look at that. Now on his site, they say that the L65 here Well, let's start with the A65, which didn't have the rubber mounted handle and stuff. It was first on his site. It says 1968. The A65 came out, and the L65 came out in production in 1974. Well, researching on the internet, and which I did think when I was at the factory and the museum and talking to some buddies over there, that yeah, 1966 this thing was first developed. 1966, that was the year I was born. So this thing's 58 years old. This kind of design, okay? It's just shaped nice, and the balance of the crankshaft and the motor was excellent, man. You know, for a non-anti-vibe saw, which it does have a little anti-vibe to it, was totally smooth, man. And they just started easy and ran good. Good old tilts and carburetor, which I'll show you in a bit, an RK23HS. Carb kit fits it, but it's a an HS123A series carburetor. Points and condenser, which is sometimes, I know when they're not idling or they kind of crap out, I know it's a point situation. And we'll go through that in a little while. I'm going to go right through this saw. We're going to start from the top up, and we're going to go for it. I got this saw from a local dealer here in town. Thank you very much, Donny, at Highway Power and Marine. I seen it in his boneyard. I say, hey, what are you doing with that thing? He said, I don't know, probably just chuck it away. Then I go, no, I'll take it. So he gave it to me. Thank you very much, Donny. I've given some of these away before, and I regret it because I should have kept them. But anyways, here we go. We got one right here. L65. Not sure the exact year of it. The serial number is a little messed up on this thing. Well, here we go. It's a 182623. So 18. Let's try to figure out that year. 71 maybe? No, 81 maybe? I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to research that with the Chainsaw Museum or Husqvarna and find that out for us, okay? So this one's made in Sweden, then the later ones were made in Yugoslavia, then they scrapped the model. So far, when I got this saw, I quickly looked at the piston, which is the first thing to do with most chainsaws, right? Let's see what the piston looks like. Is it's got vertical scoring, horizontal scoring, but nope. This thing was absolutely perfect. I don't know if you can see in there. I'm not going to zoom in because I can't get up too quickly here with 1 foot, okay? But the piston looks perfect in this thing. Original exhaust, even the exhaust gasket's still there, but typical of these, they had a lot of baffling in here that would break apart. But lucky enough, they had this cage around the exhaust flange here where it goes in the muffler, so those pieces won't fall into the motor. I'm thinking with this saw, after I go through it and show you guys all about this saw, and we get it running, I'm going to take it apart and port it and modify the muffler. This has got a down kind of spout that they used to come with, stock, that just kind of blows down, okay? It doesn't blow against the tree, doesn't blow against you or anything like that. You know me, I like to take OEM mufflers and modify them to make them work for a good work saw. I don't do these fancy different straight pipes and all this stuff like a lot of people are doing. I keep it simple. The KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. So there we go. We know we have a good engine. And I actually put some fuel down this thing a few weeks ago before I got injured. Well, almost a month ago. And it actually fired, but it died. So I know it's not getting fuel, or it could be an ignition problem. So let's start off by just looking at this saw. Like, you know, you think about it. It's slim. It's fairly light. Fairly. And they had good power. You know, I've had some people send me saws into our shop years ago. I know they're 40 years old or more, and they still run. I clean up the points, give them a little sand, preset them, do the carburetor, the fuel line, and they keep running. They just keep ticking. They're like a Timex watch. So, okay, let's get into this now. So we know the piston's good. So let's get it apart here. I'm going to do a few series of this, by the way. I'm not doing this all in one night, of course. It'll take way too long, and most people out there watching videos, just like me, don't want to spend hours watching a video. I'm home alone tonight, and the reason is my gal Shelly and her parents And her cousins are here from Saskatchewan, which is in the mid part of Canada. So it's probably, let's see, I don't know, 10-hour, no, maybe 15-hour drive to the island here. They're here, so we were supposed to go camping with them. But, of course, the condition I'm in, I couldn't do it. But thanks a lot to Tom, Shelly's dad. Came and helped me, pulled my trailer over to the campsite so Shelly could stay in it, and tomorrow night I'll stay in it so we can all camp together. So that's kind of cool. Thanks very much, Tom, for doing that. But tonight I thought, you know what? Let me go down and do a video. I've only done a couple lately, and they weren't that great. But whatever, it is what it is, okay? So there you go. I got the back cover of the air filter off and the filter off. And this is just such a simple saw. You have a vent line here, which goes like a one-way valve with this hose over here to this side, down in the crankcase where it gets, you know, kind of fresh air. It's in this compartment behind the chain cover here, and I'll take this off right now and show you. So they really thought about it, man. The engineers from Husqvarna, overall in Sweden, it doesn't matter what company it is. Partner, Jonsered, Husqvarna, Oleomac. No, not Oleomac. There was a couple other companies in Sweden too that made saws beforehand, okay? Crescent, I think they're called or something. But anyways, so nice and simple. Basic choke, manual choke. Basic throttle rod. Real simple. Nice, you know, good Tillotson carburetor on it, which are still made. Tillotson's probably the best carburetors ever made for chainsaws or go-kart engines. You know, I've shown you guys some of those racing carburetors for go-kart engines that are wicked power, and they use the main body of an HL Tillotson carburetor and just, you know, make the body better. But okay, off topic again. But here, yeah, here's the vent, and it goes down here past where all the sawdust into a nice spot where it should be fairly clean, okay? So the tank vent works fine. I've never had tank venting problems on these saws. So let's get this off and let's start taking it apart. I believe, obviously had spark because it did spark up, right? It's got a newer engine cape plug in it, which is good. Versus probably used to have an old Champion or whatever in the day. Let's see if I even have a bar wrench here. There we go. Good thing I got these things hanging behind me because I'll take a half an hour to get over to my other toolbox. I got most of my tools right here, the basic ones to take it apart. This saw pretty much you can rebuild with a flathead screwdriver, a 4mm Allen screw, Allen wrench I should say, and a 10mm socket to take the exhaust off, and a flat blade screwdriver. Okay, so, sorry, I put that away already. Points and condenser ignitions compared to electronic ignitions. Like a lot of people bring in new saws to me, and they go, oh my God, it's got no spark. I'm like, really, eh? It's so hard to see electronic spark versus points and condenser. But this one right here, right now, I just put that plug up against this painted cover. I got a whapping good blue spark. You know, you can almost turn the flywheel by hand on good points and condenser ones and see a good blue spark, eh? But on electronic ones, you got to whip them over a little bit more. They are a better reliable system, but there's nothing wrong with points and condenser setup when they're set up right. So a lot of guys that change out their electronic ignitions to, or sorry, points and condenser to the little chips you can buy, those little square things, and you can eliminate your points and condenser. I've never been a fan of those, but they do work on certain applications. Okay, so yeah, we got good spark, we know that. But I'm still going to do the points on it, and I'm going to show you on that, okay? So let's just start whipping this apart as I'm yapping along. Yeah, these were just an incredible saw. They also made what they call a 77 model, which on the Chainsaw Collector's Corner site says they were built pretty much in the same years, okay? Like first introduced in 74. Yeah, so no, 68 was the regular 77, then the L67 was 74, just like these ones. Okay, we got a bit of a seat. I talked the other day about Allen bolts. You know, Allen bolts are the worst. Clean the hole out of the head before you put your wrench in there, and hopefully you don't strip it. They're the worst for stripping. You can't beat Torx screws, eh? Torx screws on Stills and the new Huskies, you can't beat it. There we go. That one worked better for me. So let's get our back throttle plate off here, where our switch is connected and our choke. They got these little tiny little clips on them, eh? And these little clips, someone's put a piece of wire on this, which is fine. It works. But that is something that you don't want to lose, these original ones if you have them. If not, you can use a piece of wire, like a stainless steel kind of piece of wire, and use to hold the choke arm here. I know you guys can't see this right now. I wish I could have you hovering overhead, but I'm not that sophisticated and don't have that many camera things. You know me, I'm just a Joe Blow in the underground saw shop here. Okay, so we got that off. There's your switch, basic old toggle switch. Sometimes the old sticker would wear off the top cover, so I just put in felt off and on, right? So basic. Choke arm, done. Okay, put that in the box. Let's get our little clip off our throttle. Same thing. Someone's got a nice kind of a brass cotter pin in it, actually. So let's pull that sucker out of there. Yep, there we go. And there's our throttle. Okay, get that off, set it aside. Now we are close to getting the carburetor off here. Let's take the starter off first, then we'll get the carburetor off, and I'll explain how the fuel system works on here and how the ignition works, which is pretty basic, eh? Most of you guys know that. Just a cool old saws, man. I just really like these ones. They just like idle so nice. They're sort of like the 2100, just up and idle along, right? You can't beat that. Let's see if I go. Oh, I forgot that you actually need an 8mm driver or a 5/16 to get the carburetor screws off. So let's see if I got something behind me here in my second toolbox. Help me out with that. If not, I'm gonna have to hobble over to the other side for a sec. All right, give me a sec. I'll be back. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, here we go. Get my 8mm driver. You know, with chainsaws, you don't need a lot of tools. You just need the right tools. You know what I mean? Like you need just some good Allen wrenches, a few specialty tools, but most saws you only need like half a dozen tools to really do anything with, you know. I use a lot of the Still branded type T-wrenches, or a Weehaw they call them. This is a Weehaw 3/16. But yeah, you don't need a lot. You know, like a little tiny toolbox and you can pretty much rebuild almost every chainsaw. And, plus a few other specialty parts like a couple pullers, an arbor press like I use for doing bearings and installing crankshafts into the crankcases, which there's a lot of videos of some people doing those. And I made up a lot of me and my dad made up a lot of our own tooling years ago that wasn't quickly available from Husqvarna or Still. And plus we weren't a Still dealer for years, so we just did what we could, right? So there I go. I've got the two nuts off the carburetor. And of course, I've already taken the fuel line off and the throttle, so it just pulls right off. Should, anyways. Oh, it's going to bring the whole intake with it, I guess, which is okay. We're going to look at those gaskets anyways. So there you go. Come on.